Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, I-95 back open in Portsmouth after wires fall across highway. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
They are, Aaron, it's quite an interesting situation when you see that happen. But thankfully, Interstate 95 right now is open and running smoothly. But from about 8 to 10:30 this morning, that wasn't the case. It was shut down in both directions. The problem was heavy snow snapped a pole that dropped power lines and utility lines across all lanes of Interstate 95 in Portsmouth, bringing traffic to a standstill during one of the busiest times of day. Crews from Eversource, Xfinity, and Fairpoint arrived, surveyed the scene, and ended up cutting the lines to clear the scene. That while state and local police closed the highway between exits 3 and here at the Portsmouth Traffic Circle and dealing with a significant backup.
Rerouting traffic was a little more of a challenge on the southbound side. There was quite a bit of traffic that was already stuck within the closure, so we had to get that traffic turned around and rerouted. So it was a significant impact to the morning commute.
No one was hurt, and in fact, given the magnitude of the operation, they say 2.5 hours was a really swift operation. And again, the governor telling us that the highway will have to be shut down again for a short time later, temporarily, so they can rehang those lines. Reporting live in Portsmouth, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's see the update from New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And their latest update, currently 33,720 reported power outages statewide. State police reported 195 cars off the road since the start of the storm, primarily in the southern and central parts of the state. There remains a down post for speed on I-89 from New Loudoun to Lebanon. There are 42 roads closed statewide. And we will keep you updated on those updates from emergency management. Over 320K left in the dark after nor'easter. And let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Austin.
Not a lot to show for it. We're live here in Southborough, and you can see behind me that this tree has come down because of the heavy wet snow, and it is laying on some utility wires here. Now, this is the Pleasant Street connector between Route 9 and Route 30 here in Southborough, right near Framingham, and we actually have seen some cars going underneath this tree, even though both sides of the street are blocked off. And again, this is just one of what is likely hundreds of trees that are down all over Metro West in towns like Northborough, Southborough, Upton, Grafton. More than 3/4 of people are currently without power. In some places, people are not waiting for DPW and utility crews. They're clearing the roads themselves to try to make their way through. Fortunately, most of the roads are already plowed. Now, the city of Framingham has closed all non-essential offices today and has opened a warming center at the Callahan Senior Center until 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's still lightly snowing here in Southborough right now, but no wind, so that's a fortunate thing because many of these trees are still weighted down with heavy, wet snow, so any wind would bring them down. We've seen no sign of any repair crews here at this scene, an indication of just how busy they are elsewhere. Live in Southborough, David Beanick, WCVB, News Center 5.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Thousands without power as nor'easter buries Maine in snow. And let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
There are things we can do to make walking safer.
I always make sure I can be seen.
I slow down and allow extra time to stop.
If there are crosswalks or sidewalks,
Yeah, Tracy, CMP says they're bringing additional resources here to York County to handle all of these outages. Just a few minutes ago, CMP trucks repaired a wire just across the street from here, and pretty much anywhere you go around this area, you're going to encounter either a power truck or a downed wire. Kittery has gotten the worst of it. They have had nearly 5,000 customers without power, and at a certain point this morning, that accounted for more than 20% of CMP's reported outages throughout the entire state. Now, other towns have seen their numbers go up within the last hour, but still an incredible percentage of customers here in Kittery are without power. We've seen crews on several different streets trying to repair wires that were down across roads or just try to pull trees back away from those snow-covered wires. And up in York, it was a very similar story. We encountered crews that were just trying to get those wires off of the roadway. The fire department has been working through the night to try to make sure that they're safe.
Luckily, I think the wind kind of dropped out partway through the storm. Otherwise, if we had had the 50-mile-an-hour gusts that were predicted, we would have had a lot worse. But still a lot of power out.
And just about everywhere you look, it looks a lot like what you see here behind me. Every tree absolutely covered across all of the branches in snow, and you can see the weight that's adding. Even as we have been standing on these different streets where outages were reported, we have heard branches snap right next to us under the weight of all that snow. Some residents telling us that they were trying to reach out of their second floor windows with brooms just to try to knock some of the snow off of those branches. So that's going to be a problem going forward here. Crews are working around the clock, and they're hoping to get a lot of customers back on by noon, but it is certainly going to be quite a project here in Kittery.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. markets and see how your U.S. markets closed for this Thursday evening. And here's a look at those markets for you right now. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed in the red and went down. Euro/USD closed in the red and went down. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Stocks close higher after Trump signs tariffs that exclude Mexico and Canada. Stocks closed higher on Thursday after President Donald Trump implemented steel and aluminum import tariffs that excluded Canada and Mexico, two key U.S. trade partners. And we're following breaking news right now. Trump signs tariffs on imported steel and aluminum despite criticism from his own party. And let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air right now because President Trump in the Roosevelt Room of the White House about to make a major announcement on trade imposing steel and aluminum tariffs. You see him there greeting steelworkers from Pittsburgh and now coming to the podium.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm honored to be here with our incredible steel and aluminum workers. And you are truly the backbone of America. You know that. Very special people. I've known you and people that are very closely related to you for a long time. You know that. I think it's probably the reason I'm here. So I want to thank you. I also want to thank Secretary Mnuchin, Ambassador Lighthizer, Secretary Ross, Peter Navarro, Mike Pence, our great Vice President. They've worked so hard on getting this going and getting it done. And people are starting to realize how important it is. We have to protect and build our steel and aluminum industries, while at the same time showing great flexibility and cooperation toward those that are really friends of ours, both on a trade basis and a military basis. A strong steel and aluminum industry are vital to our national security, absolutely vital. Steel is steel. You don't have steel, you don't have a country. Our industries have been targeted for years and years, decades in fact, by unfair foreign trade practices leading to the shuttered plants and mills, the laying off of millions of workers, and the decimation of entire communities. And that's going to stop, right? It's going to stop. This is not merely an economic disaster, but it's a security.
Okay, and there you go on some of that video. If you want to watch the whole video, we will put that link up on the Riley King Network Facebook page for all of you to watch. Defying critics, President Donald Trump has officially announced steep tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, exempting Canada and Mexico for now, and providing for possibly exemptions for other U.S. allies. And that's it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday night, and I'll be back with a news report later on this evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with another newscast tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Good night. Bye.